Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look at Zilliqa really quick, see what's going on. I got a lot of requests for this one again. I'll just go ahead and try to keep consistent here, of course, with this one. Once again, apologize too as well for very little content in the last couple of days. Been dealing with a cold, so my voice may sound a little hoarse. And that's because it is. It's not fun, but hey, it's the way it goes, right? You just kind of deal with it and all well and good. So I'm getting better slowly but surely. Thank you so much for all the support. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, CryptoCache.tech is a website, link in the description below if you want to become a better trader. Been trading for a very long time, and I hope that you can learn something here today. And again, the whole point of that trading community is to ensure that you learn how to become a better trader more fundamentally, right? Like there's more to this TA than just TA. There's a lot of psychology involved in kind of the mindset of being a good trader, so just know that that has a lot to do with it, and I cover that in my trading academy, and I send out signals for every trade that I take too, so just keep that in mind. So taking a look here at the one day on Zilliqa, first of all, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit and see. You can see it's trending closer to its all-time high, at least, in regard to the candle wicks. It's getting close in that sense of 26, was it 25, 26 cents is a close approximate, and the recent high was 23. So, again, doing pretty well in that sense. It's tried almost 3 days in a row to try to break that level of 21.7. Hasn't quite effectively done that yet. So what's that mean for us now? I mean, honestly, it could mean a few things. It basically means that that's a point of contention, and we should expect the price to kind of stay where it's at. The thing that I don't love is that these kind of candlesticks are usually, I wouldn't say ominous, but they have a tendency of reversing. They're kind of a signal, kind of letting us know that there's potential reversal on the horizon, based on the fact that it opened and closed at the exact same point, but it tried to go really high and couldn't. Right, and it's done it 3 days in a row. So it's an interesting thing how that happens. Obviously, this has a lot to do with the correction from Bitcoin here recently. I don't think we'd see these candlesticks having done that if Bitcoin didn't correct itself as it did. So it probably leaves a lot to do with it. But once again, just something to kind of note, that's never traditionally a great sign to see these type of candlesticks where the open and close is closer to the bottom of the candle body versus the top. Okay? It really just kind of signals the fact that it can't seem to close above that current level. So there's obviously a resistance right in the range of about $18. So why don't we just go ahead and remove this all together and kind of see roughly what's going on, transparently, and kind of understand big picture here. So first of all, on the 1 day, what we could do, we can draw a trend line first of all, kind of give us perspective on where things could be eventually. Because in order to maintain this trend line, which it has done so far, this up over type of pattern, in order for it to break its all-time high or to get there, it'll need to essentially continue to increase within the next week or less, right? The next 3 or 4 days, essentially. By the time it hits that level, it'll need to bounce and increase. A lot of times that will happen just naturally based on the simple fact that trend lines have a tendency of forecasting and telling us what's going to happen next. By the way, I trust a trend line or a support level over a moving average or indicator any day. So believe it or not, these trend lines are actually very important. And this isn't a perfect trend line, of course. We don't know how truly high it will go. But the fact that it's going over to that level and trying to get to that level is important, right? So it's not decreasing, so to speak. Even if it were to decrease and bounce, we'd be just fine. But I think as soon as we break this trend line, that could be a potential area of concern. Another thing to be concerned with too here is just the fact the RSI is extremely overextended. When you see this on a 1 day time frame, it's okay at first, right? But in the long term, big picture, it's one of those things that has a tendency of kind of coming back to, I wouldn't say come back to bite you, but generally speaking, we should expect a correction, I would say, in the relative near future based on that sentiment alone. Why don't we take a look at volume 2 and see, with volume decreasing over the last 3 trading days, that is a cause of concern. I would say if we don't see an increase in volume over the next 2 or 3 trading days, we could very well likely see the price correct itself and come back down. So I do personally feel that Zilliqa is due for a correction just based on that sentiment, but it does also still have kind of a healthy continuation in regard to the fact that it's kind of doing a staircase pattern. So until it comes over here and essentially breaks down below the trend line, we have to continue to maintain it and just understand that it'll probably continue to hold, right? That to me is probably more important. But once again, it's equally as important, if not greater, to understand the volume. With a volume decrease, we could very well see the price start to decrease as well and lose that edge, and then it just becomes a selling game at that point, right? This could be a significant sell wall right here at about 18.5. Just keep that in mind. All right, so again, not terrible stuff here. I would say more neutral, if you will, if you were to kind of just average everything out. And look at the 4-hour here too. We can see with TD sequential, we came up to a 9 previously, reset down to a 3, to a 4, to a 6. So it really, outside of the fact that it came up there really hard and really fast, and it hit 2 9s in a row, say 2 9, if you can see that, that's usually a state of exhaustion. So the fact that the price hasn't come down any lower is actually a great sign and testament to the fact that Zilliqa probably will continue to maintain this price point, again, unless we lose volume. So generally speaking, I would expect the price to go sideways and to potentially bounce higher once that trend line is either touched or just in general continued upwards. Because again, a trend line, in order to have a good trend line, you want to have at least three points in which the price is touching. So with this having hit twice and the third one is still up for grabs, it's not really confirmed 100%. Okay, so again, a good trend line will be tested at least 3 or 4 times. So that being said, this trend line isn't 100% official, but generally speaking, it's trending towards the fact that it could likely test that and continue higher. So until it does, we kind of go with some other factors. But generally speaking here, we saw 2 9s in a row. Oftentimes there's a reversal that comes from that. And the fact that we didn't see that reversal, we saw another push up here and then a correction because Bitcoin corrected itself, leads me to believe that this still has more gas left in the tank and there's a chance we could see a push further higher. We just need to see more volume to complement that. Because with the lack of volume today and yesterday, or a decrease in volume, then we're only going to start seeing the price dissipate. So I hope that we can see more increased volume over the next couple of days to kind of maintain that continuation upwards. Or if nothing else, at the very least, continuation sideways. And just to touch on that too as well, we can kind of see this point here with the price. What is it? That's a price of about, we can just say 17.5 is a really close estimate. So 17.5 should be a nice little support there that's forming previous resistance, and we can see that kind of holding. Okay. We'll also draw one more support line here out as well. I don't think it'll come to this, but potentially if we do lose this support level here, hypothetically right around 12 cents would be the next immediate, as far as just a general trend line where the price had a tendency of getting rejected multiple times before it broke all the way through. Okay. All right, so again, not terrible stuff there. Take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. We can kind of see here, of course, that we're below the cloud now. So generally speaking, there's no buy signal that we have here to essentially take a long position. If anything, there's a short you'd want to short right now based on the sentiment alone. Now, it's not 100% though, because if we look at the conversion line and the baseline, they're kind of intersecting, so that doesn't really give us a confirmation. And this is almost intersecting with price action another 6 to 7 hours, and we'll probably get a cancellation there. So for lack of better terms here, we kind of have a neutral stance here, letting us know that we probably don't want to take a long or a short position. So if you're the buy the dip kind of person, then sure, maybe get in right now. But I wouldn't expect Zilliqa to shoot to the moon, I would say, in the immediate future. It needs a little bit more volume at this price point. And once again, we just need more volume in general. There's not a lot of volume in the last 24 hours, and that's slightly concerning. Granted, this is a weekend. It's going to slow down. But if we start to see the weekday having low volume, that's going to be a point of concern. Okay? So I'd say pay attention to the volume. It's a really big deal there. And then, of course, if we can continue to maintain the support level of 17.5, once we continue to trend over here, we'll see if this trend line will essentially work as our friend or if it's not anything at all. All right. So again, a lot of little things that you can kind of factor in here, but generally speaking, Zilliqa isn't in terrible shape. I would say it's more likely than not to increase. It's just one of those things where unless we see volume early in the week. So if Monday rolls around, we see a low volume day, you can expect the price to probably kind of come back down. Okay. So that's generally what we're looking at there. I know it's not like a definitive line in the sand. It's hard to kind of analyze sometimes with coins like this, especially with its history, its recent history, and the fact that it was fairly stagnant up until just here, right? So, all in all, not terrible, but not great. You've probably heard me say that before. Anyways, I hope you found benefit, of course, and I would just say exercise caution. I would not consider taking like a leverage position, for example, on Zilliqa, because yes, it could pump, but there's no definitive line in the sand here, and the fact that we've hit 2 9s in a row and haven't decreased, it is a good sign, but it's also a concern the fact that we could lose the support level here. I would say wait just a little bit longer and see if we lose support of 17.5. If we do lose that, then that could be a point of the price coming down. But I think this trend line is going to be important to see if it continues to intersect. So truth be told, we probably want to wait another day or two to be able to find out specifically if we continue to maintain this actual trend to the upside. If we lose this trend, then keep in mind we'll probably end up doing something a lot different, which would probably be going down, not up. All right. So that's kind of where we're at there. Once again, thanks again for joining me here. Hope you learned something here today, of course. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the website. Thanks again for dealing with my horsey voice, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.